right. We are live. We are ready for another pose mastery class. If you are catching this on replay, you are obviously not live with us here right now. But if you do want to be notified when we go live, when we have our live classes, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel. And all the lives that are set, you can check out at any time. And if you click the little bell, it'll let you know every time we're scheduled to go live or when we do go live. Right now, we are in the series of a pose mastery class, kind of month and a half long series, which I already said, yes. Today's pose is dancer pose. So, of course, what a master class looks like is everything that we do prepares us for that pose. So I hope you are ready. We are starting standing. Now, again, the peak pose, dancer pose, it might be new to you. You might get it today, you might not get it today, but that's not really what matters. What matters is that we're preparing our body for the benefits of dancer pose: chest expansion, back strength, even balance. Let's start the class. Coming to the front edge of your mat, wherever that is for you. Let's inhale and reach our arms overhead. If my arms go out of the screen, I apologize. I think you can probably figure out where they are. As we exhale, we bend our knees, we hinge at the hips, and we dive forward. So we are in a forward bend here. Let's bend our knees deeply. Our legs aren't super warm yet. Shaking our head yes and no. And sometimes I forget to introduce myself, by the way. I'm Gretchen Gegg, and I'm your yoga instructor today. Hope you're enjoying this class so far. So far, you've done one thing. It's probably amazing. When you're ready, let's take our left leg back. We're going to lunge. We're going to take it into a nice low lunge. Now, you're welcome to drop the knee if you need to. Again, it's nice and early on. We're just working through this sun salutation. Apologies, my mic is moving. From here, when you're ready, we're going to exhale to a downward facing dog. Beautiful. Inhaling to a plank. Drop the knees immediately. Now this plank is going to become knees, chest, chin. Watch what happens. Toes are down, knees are down. I drop my chest and I drop my chin, but my hips stay high, zipping my belly. Dropping down to the ground, rolling our shoulder blades back, lifting up to a baby cobra. Now, what do I mean by baby cobra? Hands aren't going to push. Toes push in, knees lift off, bottom squeezes, make sure those toes stay attached. Engaging the back of the body, sliding our elbows forward so that our arms are flat, lifting into Sphinx. Now we do push just enough to, engage our back and support ourselves. We don't want to hang down here. Get rid of that length. Keep the length, push, and if you want, you can extend the hands, zipping the belly to strengthen the back. Gazing forward, Sphinx pose. Beautiful. Lowering down, using the knees to come up, continuing our sun salutation. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take that left foot forward. From here, we're going to stay in this low lunge. You can drop the knee if you want. Actually, let's all drop the knee together for this one. And then raising our arms into a crescent lunge. A little slower maybe than sun salutations that you're used to. But again, we're going a little slow because we jump right into it, warming up the body. Exhale, release, stepping forward into a forward bend. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Bring the feet together, squeezing the legs together. Exhale to chair. Arms can reach forward. They can always come up here by your ears as well, engaging your back body, or they can just reach forward. Either one. Inhale, standing to mountain. Exhale, swan dive down to a forward bend. This mic is not loving its position here. That's better. Take our right leg back to a low lunge. Beautiful. It's hard to find mics when you're moving around so much that will come with you. Again, you can lower the knee if you need to, but we're focused on opening the front of the leg. That's going to help us prepare for dancer pose today. When we're ready, exhaling to downward facing dog. From here, inhale to plank. You can keep the knees lifted off if you want to prep, zipping the belly tight, dropping the knees, dropping the chest, dropping the chin, hips stay up. Now lower the hips, lifting. This time you can add a little push if you want into full cobra. Option would be to really push with the toes, squeeze the bottom, lift the knees, and push up until your hips and knees come off into an upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot comes forward into a low lunge, dropping the knee. Reaching into a crescent lunge. Pressing through those hips, so we're opening the front again here just a little bit deeper. Exhale, stepping into a forward bend. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, walk the feet together, squeeze the thighs together, chair. Arms are forward. Let's take our left hand back to our back pocket, right? Pretend back pocket. Right hand to the outer thigh, twisting our chair, gazing behind our body. I believe we did this one in revolved triangle, so if you've done that one, it might look familiar. The biggest thing is we want our knees to be even. We don't want one to be jutted out in front of the other. Squeeze the legs together. Exhale, forward bend. Untwisting. Inhale, left leg goes back again. Low lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Knees down, optional. Sorry about the mic, guys. And then lower down to knees, chest, chin. So remember, knees touch, then chest touches, then chin touches. I think it's not the mic, I think it's my shirt. And now lower our hips, lower our chest. We're going to take our hands forward. Little deeper prep in the back bend. Now, you can take your head down to your hands if you wish, or you might want to watch and copy this first time around. We're going to point that left toe to the sky, bend the knee, and then flatten the foot out. Try that a couple times. Point and pull the toe, flatten, pull the heel. Pull the toe, pull the heel. This time pull the toe and hold. Pull as tight as you can. Lifting up as if we're going into baby cobra here. Engaging the back. Left hand to left foot without repositioning, right? So without everything coming out to the side. Keep the foot in. Don't change the position. Find it. If you're not there yet, we're lifted and we're holding the foot. We're stopping there. Next place would be to see if the foot comes easily. If it comes easily, awesome. If you want, you can also walk down to the ankle and then flex the foot. All options for half bow pose. Lifting and now kicking the foot into the hand to lift your chest a little higher. Did you see that? Watch. Kick. All that happened was my leg. Trying to lift that knee off the mat. Final option, if you want to try, is to reach the right arm forward. Gazing long and slightly down to protect our neck. Exhale, release. Whew. Let's push back to child's pose first. Little counter posture, arms reach. You have to go back and listen to this sound. And then downward facing dog. We'll meet there in just a second. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Taking that left leg forward. Again, you can help that leg out if you need to. From here, keep the knee up. Walk ourselves up into a lifted lunge. Adding the arm reach for a crescent lunge here. Pushing through the hips. Beautiful. Using the energy in our legs to step into a forward bend. Whew, that was big. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Sitting into chair, I'm going to face you for a second. Sitting here. This time we're going to the other side, at least for me, and it might look opposite to you, that's okay. We're going to take our right hand, place it in our pretend back pocket, or real, maybe your pants have pockets, I don't know, who am I to judge? Squeeze our knees together, arm comes over, twisted chair. Perfect. Exhale to a forward bend. When you're ready, right leg comes back to a low lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Lowering the hips. Bring the arms forward. We're setting up for half bow on the opposite side. Again, your head can come down to your hands. Pushing with the toes. Squeezing the bottom, lifting the knees off. Now with that right leg, we point the toe. Bring the foot as close into the bottom as we can. Flex, pull the heel in close to the bottom. Point. And flex. Point and hold. Hold that point. Now that might be it. That might be it today. And you know what? That's a-okay. Every day we're a little different. If we want, we can push with our hands a little bit and start to lift our chest, right? That's next position if we'd like to go there. If we'd like to try, we can take the right hand back without changing any position of the foot, finding the foot or finding the ankle and flexing the foot. Either one works. I'll do the foot on this side so you can see what that would look like. You can even kind of pull over the toes a little if you'd like. Try to square that shoulder to the front without pulling the knee out to the side, if that makes sense. Pushing into the hand to lift the chest off, and then try to lift the knee off. And you can do this. You can try to lift the knee off. You don't have to hold the foot, right? And then the same thing, you can hold the foot or not. Final option is to reach with the left arm. So you can do this whole thing without holding onto the foot. It's a lot of engagement in the back body. Pushing the toe up, reaching the arm out. Option would be, of course, holding the foot. Releasing down, pushing back first into child's pose as a little counter. A counter is anything that we do that puts our body in an opposite position to recover it a little bit, right? If we bend forward, we bend backward. If we go to one side, we go to the other. You'll see a lot of that in these master classes. And when you're ready, we've got downward facing dog. And then we're going to take that right foot forward. We've got our lunge. We can crawl ourselves up to a high lunge. I think I found a good mic place, guys. Reaching the arms into a crescent. Beautiful. Stepping forward into a forward bend. From here, standing up, arms reach down to the ground, shoulders back and down. And then I want you to try here for a chest expansion. So it might look like hands to back pockets, just opening the chest, kind of gazing forward. That might be our chest expansion. Another option might be finding the hands together, rolling the shoulders back, finding a chest expansion here. Any chest expansion works. Another thing might just be pulling the arms back. So find your version of a chest expansion today. Feel the shoulder blades in the back of our body, right? Our shoulder blades, instead of being up here, we drop the shoulder blades down like they're being pulled toward our bottom. Then we zip our belly, and this is the part that maybe I wasn't demonstrating so well a second ago. But instead of being here, we drop the rib cage, tuck the belly, so we're kind of in a nice straight line. Rolling the shoulders back. I think that's a place where I get to work on some flexibility, is right there, getting the shoulders back and the rib cage down. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. Beautiful. Stepping our right leg back this time into warrior one. From here, we're just going to square the chest, zip the belly, raise the head, or imagine it being raised. Back toe, let's get over a little bit. Back toe is down at an angle. We're pushing through the pinky toe side. Beautiful. Warrior one. Take the palms, push them behind us. Lean down into humble warrior. See if we can drop the knee a little bit lower, keeping a nice flat back. And then a little balance practice with energy. Let's try to take flight into warrior three. So you can see I lift up on my toe, back on my heel. On my toe, maybe I lift the leg off a little bit until I'm ready to lift off and balance into warrior three. Hello, my bicycle's right here. That's nice. I can hold on to my bike if I need to. Square that hip, reach long, and then when you're ready, drop back into warrior one. Opening into warrior two, feet are perpendicular, arms reach long. The arm of our back leg is going to tuck under, palm on our back, top arm comes over for cow face arms. Let me show you what's happening in the back of my body, and they do not have to touch. They can just be here. But same thing that we did earlier with the chest expansion. Instead of lifting up, try to zip the belly, pull the rib cage, like there's little suspenders, pulling your rib cage down to your hips. Reaching long, straightening the leg, sliding forward, and finding triangle. Beautiful, squeeze the bottom. You can gaze at our lifted hand out or down, whichever works. From here, lifting the back heel, taking ourselves down into a low lunge, dropping the back knee, taking this hand to our thigh. We're going to push into a twisted lunge. Let me go a little sideways so you can see what's happening here. Right? So I found my hand on my thigh and I'm pushing into a twisted lunge. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. I'll crawl myself back to center. Lifting up, center, step into forward bend, reverse swan dive, up to mountain. Opposite leg back to warrior one. So for me, that's my left leg. If you're with me, that's your left leg. Getting everything centered forward for warrior one. Pressing through the back pinky toe. Think about that rib cage too. Feel it here because it often wants to pop, right? We have this separation between our ribs and our hips, usually due to untrained transverse abdominis, maybe even rectus abdominis, right? The six-pack muscle. So from here, pull the belly button in a little bit and you can really feel it happen. These come together. Yeah. And again, I don't know your history. I've had 2 kids, so this is a muscle that I constantly have to train. And I always feel like I want to, pop my rib cage open because that feels comfortable and natural versus let's go somewhere a little bit less comfortable, but in a place that I know I need training. Cool. Palms back. Leaning down. Can we put the belly button on the thigh? Maybe, maybe not. It's okay either way. And then when you're ready, start to take flight. Lifting finally into warrior three. We don't have to be there long. We're just practicing the balance. Dropping back, opening into warrior two. Perfect. Got to get that one leg balance to get into dancer pose. Leg that's back, that arm goes under. Leg that's forward, that arm goes over. Zip, Pull that rib cage and pelvis closer together. Pelvis girdle, really, the whole thing. Your hips, kind of hip bones maybe will make more sense. Breathing, expanding through the chest without popping up the rib cage. You'll see like that's becoming more and more and more and more important because chest expansion is important in downward in dancer pose. Hello. But being able to do that without compromising the integrity of your lower back is what makes you able to do back bends healthily. Reaching the arms long, straightening the front leg and sliding, then cartwheeling. It's a little bit about me and back bends, the information you didn't ask for, but it's good info. I had a pretty bad back injury in high school, of all things, sports related. And I, throughout my 20s, had just some major, major complications from that. When we're ready, we're going to go down to a low lunge. So we start to slide down, lift, drop the knee, and twist. So I had this, I would constantly get back spasms, just constantly, and they would take me out for a day. I had, muscle relaxers on prescription. And then I started to get a little bit more serious about my yoga practice and also become a trained Pilates instructor. Facing center, lifting the knees, stepping into forward bend. And if you know anything about, especially Pilates, kind of shake it out for a second. Just let yourself kind of go free here for a moment. Then you know that the transverse abdominis is really important. When you're ready, you can bring yourself to standing. The transverse abdominis is the abdominal muscles that go underneath everything. So our six-pack muscle is the rectus. It's involved in this kind of thing. Then we have our internal and external obliques. Help us do this kind of thing. But then you have your transverse abdominis that runs this way. This is what protects our lower back. So I had spent all these years kind of training my lower back, not realizing I needed to train my transverse abdominis. And I kid you not, since that time, I have probably had maybe 2 back spasms. And I'm 42, so we're looking at like another 20 years. So if you don't learn anything from this, train your transverse. If you're scared of back extension, it's not back extension that's scary. It's that you're unstable here. Zipping that belly, pulling everything in without sucking in, pulling it in is really important to learn how to do. Well, I think we are ready for our peak pose. Now, you are welcome to hold on to something if you like. You can hold on, up to something to your side or to your front or nothing at all. It's okay. The first thing for dancer is to find foot in hand. So you'll just find foot in hand. Now, just like half bow pose, you can crawl this down to your ankle and you can flex the foot and roll the shoulder back. A third variation would be to find your thumb. I have to hold something to be able to talk and look and do this. Find your thumb to your big toe and roll the shoulders back. Now, from the front, when I grab my foot, everything stays in line. I'm not out here. And we're just stopping after this. That's all we're doing. Find your hand position and then lower down. Shoulders back and down. Other side. You see me like, put your hand if you need something. Find your foot, any position. Remember our 3 positions. Let me hold on so I can do this properly and show you. Foot in hand. Ankle in hand. Notice I flex my foot to protect my knee because our ankle likes to turn, our hip likes to turn, knee doesn't. Or thumb to toe. And that opens up my shoulders a little bit more. It's a little bit more chest expansion. And again, from the front, we see that everything is in one nice long line. Perfect. Release. We're going to add on to this, but again, if today your peak pose is grabbing your foot, that's your goal. What if you're like, I just can't seem to do it? Try to touch your heel, right? Try to touch your heel or touch your toe and hand. That's actually harder to do. So try to just touch your heel and hold that together, or just lift as high as you can and just hold, strengthening those muscles. Together, let's lift and hold. That's where we were last time. And then I want you to start pushing your hips forward. I have to hold on while I'm talking. Pushing your hips forward, rolling your shoulder back, kicking your foot into your hand, but staying lifted, right? Arm can reach forward if we like, but we're lifted, lifted, lifted. We're not going anywhere yet. Stuff's going behind us. Zip the belly so that we're not overarching the back. Tighten the belly a little bit, but kick the foot away. And release. On the other side, foot in hand. Kick the foot away. Notice how everything is staying in line, just giving you a different view. Kick the foot away. We can reach the arm forward if we'd like. Remember, we zip the belly, kick the foot. That way our back extension is protected. Lowering down. Third option. How are we on time? Perfect timing. I love it when the peak pose happens right here. We're good to go. Third option is going to be, I don't want to call it full dancer because like, what does that really mean? But it's going to be just an additional option to this. So we start foot in hand. Might want to watch first if you're working on balance. We add the kick. We add the reach. We pull the reach up to the side of our head and we start to turn down into dancer, kicking higher and higher as we go. Now, something to think about when you're doing this is that you don't want the chest to drop down. You don't want to round the shoulders. That's why keeping the arm by the ear is so important. When you are done, you can, if you fall out of it, no worries, no harm, no foul. If you're still holding the balance, try to pull everything back in to that start position and then release. Sometimes easier said than done, I know. So again, our focus, instead of forward, is everything behind us. Just shake out for a second before we go to the other side. The reason I do it in 3 stages is I often see dancer performed like this, right? Or look at me, I'm in dancer, and you see that I've still got this bend to my front body. Everything's tight. It's about expanding here with an engaged belly. It's a very unique pose, often done pretty incorrectly because someone's focusing on the balance, not the benefit, right? So again, however you want to find the foot. If you want, start kicking in and finding the reach. If you want, bring the hand by the head and then start to slowly revolve by kicking more and more into whatever your version of dancer will be today. And you might fall out of it like me. Also, if you have a really squishy mat, go to a hard floor for this. It's going to help it make a lot more, oh, that feels better already. You're just going to be a lot more supported rather than all the squishiness. And if you're still holding when you're ready to come down, bring it in. And then exit. Whew. Legs go a little wider than normal. Kind of shake the hips here for a second. Let's go to a wide leg forward bend. Hands can touch the ground, or maybe you're using something and your hands will touch it over here. But actually, this little ball would be a nice option, right? Hands on it. Good. From here, just breathing, rolling our shoulders back. Bending our knees to come up to standing. Friends, you have made it. You did dancer pose. Take this practice today and put it somewhere where it's going to make you feel good about yourself. And again, it's not about hitting the peak pose. It's about, I chose this path. I followed down it my way, and this is what the end looked like for me. This path will be here. You can come back to it at any time and do this class. It will be up on YouTube. It's not going anywhere. Make sure that you are subscribed to my channel, and then just go through my playlist, go through my live videos, find something for you. There's a lot of stuff there. All right. Until next time, thank you so much for joining me.